In this video, we're going to talk about parallel lines and transversals. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then we have some congruent angles. So let me draw what this looks like. Here's two parallel lines, and to indicate that they are parallel, they're going to have these little like chevrons on them. So I don't have to guess whether these lines are parallel or not. A transversal is a third line that's going to cut through them. Corresponding angles are going to be angles that are in the same position. So let me draw the angle pairs. It's going to be around this intersection and around this intersection. So this angle up here in the top right is going to correspond with this angle in this position, top right. The same position on each of those circles. Those are corresponding, and they're going to be congruent. This angle on the left of it is going to be the same as this angle on the left. They're in the same exact position. So that's what corresponding angles are. Now, alternate interior angles, let me show you those. And let me take away those guys. So the interior is this region in here. This is the inside or interior of those two parallel lines. Okay, so that's the interior. Alternate means they're on the opposite side of that line. So these two are alternate interior. Or these two are alternate interior. And they're going to be congruent. Exterior angles are on the outside. So in these two regions. This is exterior of those parallel lines. Okay, and so if I'm looking for alternate exterior, they're going to be on the opposite side of the transversal. Remember, this is the transversal. And you can see how these two angles that I just wrote in black, they're on the alternate sides of that line. Now, there are some other supplementary angles. Those are the only three that are congruent, but supplementary would be consecutive same side interior angles. And so if again this is our transversal, we want to be consecutive, mean right next to each other on the same side. These two angles are same side interior and they are supplementary. Same side exterior are also supplementary. These two angles that I just did in purple, they are on the same side of the transversal. They are in the exterior region, and they are going to be supplementary. And then just some other angles from Unit 1. Vertical angles, they're always congruent, and a linear pair is always supplementary. So when we're given some information, let's go ahead and put that information right on our diagram. So it tells us the measure of angle 65. Angle 1 is 65. So this guy is 65. Well, just from Unit 1, we know that angle 3 is going to be from 65, congruent to that, and that's 65. Okay, so now the three angle pairs that we've just learned, corresponding, alternate interior, and alternate exterior, are congruent. Let's use those to figure out the rest. All right, so angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. They're in the same position on each of those angle groupings. So I know that angle 5 is 65, and it's vertical to angle 7, which is 65. Now, I can use linear pairs. Angle 1 and 2 are on a line, so that means angle 2 is going to be supplementary with 65. So if I wanted to find that, I would take 180, subtract 65, and that's 115. So angle 2 is going to be 115. It's vertical to angle 4, so I know angle 4 is 115. And then angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding, so this is also 115. And then vertical angles we can use to identify angle 8 is also 115. And we figured them all out. Now there are more than one way to justify angles are congruent, but I'm just going to go with what I think is like the easiest way, and then give the reason. Now, the degrees, those are always going to be the same, whether it's my paper or your paper. These are all going to be the same. But your justification might be different. And, I can say that angles are vertical and they're congruent, or you can use corresponding angles to say they're congruent. There's different ways we can justify. As long as you're giving a valid reason, then that's fine. Okay, and so let me fill in the chart. And again, I'm going to go through and just give what I think are the easiest ways to justify. Angle 2, we said that was a linear pair with angle 1 because those are supplementary. Angle 3 is vertical angles with angle 1. Angle 4 was vertical angles with angle 2. Angle 5, those were corresponding with angle 1. And then 6, we could say that was a linear pair with angle 5. Angle 7 was vertical with angle 5. And angle 8, well, we can say that's vertical with angle 6. But like I said, these reasonings might be a little different on your page, just depending on how you justify. All right, in this example, I want you to pause the video and see what you can do. And then unpause the video and check your work. So at this time, pause your video, fill in your chart. Okay, so I hope you paused the video. Let's look at the angle groupings right here and here. We've got our parallel lines indicated by the little chevrons, and our transversal is running vertically. So if I'm given that angle 6 is 142, that's this guy right here. This is 142. He is in the same position as angle 8. So I'm going to say that angle 8 is also 142 by corresponding angles. And that's with angle 6, our given angle. Well, 8 is vertical from 3. So 3 is also going to be 142 vertical angles with angle 8. Angle 1 is also going to be vertical, angle 6. And then now we can figure out the others because these make linear pairs. So if I draw any of these straight lines here, well, I can figure out what that angle is by subtracting from 180. And so let's just do a little arithmetic. I believe that's 38. So angle 5 is going to be 38. And that is a linear pair with angle, and I think this is angle 1. Yep, angle 1. And then 2 is 38, and that is vertical angle with angle 5. 7 is corresponding with 5. So angle 7 is going to be 38, and those are corresponding with angle 5. And then angle 4 is 38. It is vertical with angle 5. All right. So again, these should be the same values on your paper, but you may have justified them a little differently. Okay, we've got a little bit busier. This time we have 2 transversals. So we focus on one at a time. So let me just, we're not going to focus on these I've just shaded. Let's focus on the top set first. Angle 7 is 38. Angle 10 is 102. Okay, so we're focused on this set of angles and this set of angles. Those are going to give us the congruent angles and supplementary angles. They will not match these angles because we can see that these 2 lines are not parallel. So they do not give us congruent or supplementary angles. They have to be on the same transversal. This grouping of angles is on the same transversal with those parallel lines. So those are the ones that are going to give us congruent and supplementary. So we know that angle 10 is 102, and see what you can do. So pause the video and fill out what you can and then come back and check your work. All right, so angle 10 and angle 12 are both going to be 102 because they're both vertical, or 12 is vertical from angle 10. So I'm going to say that angle 12 is 102. And angle 10 and angle 2 are in the same position. These are corresponding. Angle 4 is across from angle 2, and so that's also 102. So see how we got 4 angles just by knowing that first one. All right, so now let's figure out the supplementary angles. So let me see, how about 180 minus 102, and I think that should be 78 if I do my math right, yes. So angles 11, 9, 3, and 1. And that is because they are on a line, so they are going to be a linear pair. Their linear pair is supplementary. Remember, a line is 180 degrees. 9 is going to be vertical from angle 11, and then 1 will correspond with 9, same position, and 3 is vertical from 1. All right, so now let's take a look at the second grouping. So I'm going to erase this, and let's work on this second grouping down here. So 7 is 38, 7 and 15 are corresponding. 13 and 5 are vertical from 7 and 15. So 5 is going to be 38, and 13 is 38. And then we just find the linear pair. We've got a line here. So if a linear pair add to 180, let's subtract. And let's see, how about 42? And so that means angles 14, I'm sorry, how about 142? Angles 14, 16, 6, and 8 are all going to be 142. And that is again because we have a linear pair. If this side is 38, this side over here is going to be 142 because they add to 180. 16 is vertical from angle 14. 16 and 8 are corresponding. 8 is vertical from 6, and so they're all going to be 142. All right, in our last example, let's mark everything that we're given. The measure of angle 2 is 41. Measure of angle 5 is 94. Measure of angle 10 is 109. All right, and we can see we have the parallel marks here and here. So we've got some parallel lines. I'm going to go ahead and highlight them, this guy and this guy. Our transversal, we've actually got, well, 3 transversals if we were to extend those lines. But let's use this guy as our transversal. And let's see if we can mark any others. If angle 2 is 41, that is going to be on the alternate side of angle 9 on the interior. So these are alternate interior angles. And so that one's going to be 41 as well. Okay, so let's see what else we can figure out. So I've got angle 9 is 41. Let's find the supplement angle 5, because see, these two, 5 and 4, are on a straight line. So 180 minus 94, do a little arithmetic. Let's see, 6, and how about 86? 86 and 94 are supplementary. All right, I can find the measure of angle 3, not by using any of our angle pairs, but just that the fact that a triangle, if I were to highlight this triangle right here, the 3 angles add to 180 in a triangle. So 86 and 41 make, let's see, 127. And 180 minus 127, a little bit of arithmetic. So let's see, that'd be 3. How about 53? So the measure of angle 3 is 53. Okay, I can also, let's see, let's find out what angle 1 is. Angle 1 is in the same position as angle 4. Do you see how these are corresponding? So angle 1 is going to be 86. Now, I could have also added up these three angles, 1, 2, and 3, and they should also add to 180. And I think I'm just going to check myself real quick and make sure. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's 12, 17. Yep, they add to 180. So a couple of different ways you could have worked that one. Let's see, what else can we do? Well, the angles down here, 8, 9, and 10 should also be supplementary because they are, the three angles will add to 180. So if I add 9 and 10, that's going to give me, let's see, 150. So the measure of angle 8 is going to give me 30 because 180 minus 150 is 30. So this guy right here. Okay, so next thing I see is, well, I've got a triangle right over here. So let's figure out those three angles of the triangle. I know they're going to add to 180. So if I've got a 41 and a 30, that's 71. 180 minus 71. How about 109? So the measure of angle 7, 109. And then my last angle that I've got to find is angle 6. That's a linear pair with angle 7. So 180 minus 109. And how about, is that 71? Yeah, so angle 6 is 71. All right, guys, we solved it. You're going to need to just practice.